Everybody just about ready to go. The referee has a check of the whistle, and the ball is rolling in Central New York. Pitt on the right side of your screen in the all-blue away strip, attacking to the left. Syracuse in the all-white home, going to the right. Samaya Fury onto the ball early for the visitors. Amanda West sporting the captain's armband, a multiple record holder, record setter, a kind of dynasty-defining program for this Panthers side. As Aisha Kha makes a good tackle on the far side of the pitch.
It's going to be a very interesting contest, Phil. Syracuse just coming off those two very close ACC games. Pitt coming off of two huge wins for them. It's going to be very exciting to see who comes out on top.
This Orange team has played a couple really difficult opponents here at SU Soccer Stadium. Number 3, Florida State. Seminoles now the best team in the land. Number 17, Wake Forest. Both of those times, Syracuse was in that contest.
And that's what's going to be so crucial. Pitt, the best attack statistically in the ACC. Syracuse have arguably the best goalkeeper in the ACC in Shea Vanderbosch. That's what, will those two outliers, those two factors cancel each other out? We'll just have to wait and see.
Aaron Fleury getting in the way of a pass, but only for a moment as Ashton Gordon moves it along. 3 at the back for Pitt. 3 forwards, 4 across the middle. Coming up against a 4-4-2 for Syracuse. How do those two formations interact from a tactical standpoint?
Well, from a Pitt standpoint, it's going to be trying to break down the Syracuse defense. A 4-4-2, they're going to try. Syracuse are trying to be in that low block, be more defensive, more compact. Pitt want to have numbers forward. That's why they only have 3 in the back.
Kylan Grant getting forward for the Orange now. Opportunity for the cross, poked away right at the top of the key. Zoe Van de Kloot back into the lineup and loses possession. Shapansky with the tackle and immediately trying to send it long. Alyssa Abramson wins the foot race.
Very smart there from Abramson.
Shea Vanderbosch moving things along. The sophomore goalkeeper with 97 saves this season, 41 away from a program record. Double-digit saves in her last 2 outings back-to-back.
There's nothing more that you could say about that, Phil. She is just phenomenal. Without her, you don't even want to think about where Syracuse could be. They would be rooted to the bottom of the ACC. It has been such a tough year for Coach Nikki Adams and her squad as a whole. Lots of injuries and having to play players in so many different positions. That's made them structurally much weaker. That means there's been a lot more shots on the Syracuse net, and Shea Vanderbosch has lived up to the task.
What does that role look like for her today? We know she's a good shot stopper, but she can't exactly play that long ball from the back over the top because, as you mentioned, Syracuse doesn't have a ton of numbers. They'll have to throw them back here. West with Shapansky on the overlap. Sarah Shapansky now on her right foot, crossing it to the back post. Numbers there, headed down, and Vanderbosch calmly claims.
Well, that's save number 98 for Shea Vanderbosch. This is just another brilliant example of how good Pitt are. Shapansky, so calm and composed, puts it beautifully towards the back post. And there were 2 Pitt players just standing right outside the 6-yard box waiting for any opportunity. But going back to your question, Phil, about Shea Vanderbosch, she's also, even as a sophomore, she's just such a great leader for this team. Constantly talking to a defensive line, constantly in conversation with her attacking players as well. She's just an all-round amazing leader.
Ashley Rauch, the Orange player, down, went up for the 50-50 ball. Came down pretty hard.
It's a huge concern here for Coach Adams. Once again, another injury scare, and Ashley Rauch, who has just come back from injury. Such a crucial part to this Orange side. One of the captains of the team as well.
Rauch has started every game this season for Coach Adams. 1 goal to her name all the way back on August 27th against Binghamton. We talk about Coach Adams. He's been at the helm for the Orange since 2019. Rauch back on her feet, and last season for the Orange was a statement win for her, or rather a statement campaign with 8 wins, equaling the tally of her previous 3 seasons in charge.
And it was last season where it was the first time she really had her fingerprints on the team. In the off-season, had 8 players transfer out. And it's been very clear from Nikki Adams' point of view, it's been very difficult to get back those numbers. And when you have only about 13 or 14 healthy players ready to go, makes it really difficult.
Early cross in, overhead kick from Szczepanski. Kept her left foot on the ground, and Shea Vanderbosch saw it all the way.
Once again, Szczepanski, so calm and composed. She's able to create that space for herself on those crosses. 9 goals and 6 assists on the season.
Nice move from Grace Gillard, sophomore captain at the back, with a bit of poise on the ball. Already, Pitt have won the ball back. Fury had it poked away. Van de Kloot doesn't mess about. Long ball over the top. Rupert trying to chase it down. So too is Kate Murphy back into the lineup for Syracuse. We talked about her pre-game, and let's talk instead about Randy Waldrum, the head coach for Pitt in his 6th season in charge, one of the all-time leaders in Division I career victories. Also, of course, coached the Super Eagles, the Nigeria women's national team at the 2023 World Cup.
And when we spoke to him midweek, it was just so fascinating to hear the stories he was telling us about the World Cup and just the whole story of how he became the Nigerian national coach. It really is such a phenomenal career that he has had so far.
Panthers trying to pounce once again. An early shot, and Vanderbosch equal to it. A flying right paw, and it stays scoreless.
Once again, a prime example of the athleticism of Shea Vanderbosch. Shot comes in, and it was a much required save. Has that athleticism, gets the arm up, and punches it over the crossbar. She is just phenomenal, and a huge reason for why Syracuse can even get some results this season.
Sarah Szczepanski, the junior, by the far corner flag. To the front post. Came off a flurry, appeals for a handball. Her right arm was raised. The referee had a look. Let's play continue.
Erin Fleury was put in a very uncomfortable position there, just deflected and had her arms up. Fairly unnatural position, but it was so close to her. I think the referee gave the benefit of the doubt.
Vanderbosch now up to 99 saves this season. Murphy couldn't get through Abiodun. Pitt going with a bit of a high press here and really putting some pressure on the orange back line.
And impressively, Syracuse have been able to withstand it so far. They've been able to get the ball forward.
Erin Fleury now on the edge of the area. Needs help, doesn't have much of it. Tries to do it all herself. Murphy intercepting. Syracuse have numbers here, and now they have a free kick too.
Very impressive from Syracuse, able to withstand that Pitt press. Ashley Rouse receives the ball, and honestly, she could have turned the other way, and Erin Fleury would have had space ahead of her, and there could have easily been a shot away, but never mind that. This is a great opportunity for Syracuse.
Ellie Caulfield, the junior in her 45th career start for the Panthers, gives away the free kick in a promising position. Ellie Breach in the all-yellow puts 2 in the wall. Murphy will swing it in. Gillard thought about the overhead. Gillard for it once again. Bit of a mess, and now Syracuse will reset with Kylan Grant. Deborah Abiodun played in that World Cup for Coach Waldrum with the Super Eagles. Fury now. Syracuse had the numbers forward, and honestly, there are a lot of white shirts still trying to press the ball high up the pitch. Gillard with an aggressive interception.
And this is what we've seen over the last 2 games. Syracuse have found their mojo. They've been able to work the ball a lot better. They're connecting their passes, and as simple as it sounds, that was an issue for Syracuse, especially early on in conference play. And so far, we're seeing Syracuse playing the game and playing well.
Zoe van de Kloot had a bit of a shoulder in there, but referee says nothing doing, and Fury was a bit offside. The ball nowhere near her anyways.
A little bit of a concern for Pitt. They haven't, even though we're only just under 10 minutes in, they haven't taken grasp of this game just yet. They are connecting their passes, but Syracuse, they're in this game. They're able to possess the ball. They've been able to put the ball in areas. The one issue for Syracuse, especially on that last forward play, they just didn't have those numbers forward. They need to be moving forward as a unit together to create better chances for each other.
Shapansky, defended by 2 on the near side. And with Amanda West. Caulfield didn't see the pressure in time. Now Erin Fleury with some green grass ahead of her. She's going to take it at speed, and she's got wheels too. Fleury onto her left. Has support with Lisa Lawton. Who gives away the ball just as Syracuse were trying to get numbers up. Now Pitt at a breakneck pace the other way. Shapansky makes the overlapping run. Gillard makes the sliding challenge. Not once, but twice, and well defended by the sophomore captain.
Great defending there by Grace Gillard. She has such a great soccer IQ, really good at knowing when to put those challenges in. As you mentioned, Phil, not once but twice. Make sure to get the ball away.
Second corner of the afternoon, both for the visitors. Sarah Shapansky with 6 assists this season. It's another cross in the near post. There's one head there. The second touch isn't provided. And scurried away by Gillard.
Very nervous scenes there in the Syracuse 6-yard box. Shea Vanderbosch completely misjudged this corner kick to the near post. Headed towards the back post by Shapansky, and Pitt need to do a little bit better there. It was practically an open goal.
It was Ashton Gordon, the graduate defender, who didn't catch it cleanly in the bouncing ball. Abiodun spreading the wealth to the far side now. Opportunity for the shot from Mertz. And the shadow graced the crossbar just over the frame.
Wasn't too far away, though. It was closer than it seemed from Pitt. Another good opportunity.
So if you're Coach Waldron right now, so far, what has to change for the Panthers? Because they're getting forward, but Shea Vanderbosch has only been tested twice.
I think they just need to make sure that the quality of the chances are better. Pitt know how to move the ball. They have 3 incredible attacking players. They just need to utilize them better.
Anna West working hard on both sides of the ball, gets the nutmeg. Now in a battle with Rauch. Kylan Grant provides backup.
Such a physical game whenever Syracuse hosts, whenever they're at home. We saw this against Wake Forest, against Florida State. Syracuse, that grit and grind that they're gonna put those hard challenges in. It's gonna be physical. They're gonna be very solid defensively, and we're already seeing that today.
Bit of frustration from Anna Rupert, getting some encouragement from her coaching staff. But that is going to be the nature of this game. It is a frustrating one for forwards when you have to rely on the counterattack, Nick, but got to keep a positive mindset.
Well, the good thing for Syracuse is in these last 2 games, they have this newfound confidence as well. It's really going to make a difference.
Heels for the foul. It's another player down. Kylan Grant this time.
She got forced right onto the boards there that round the perimeter of the field. Looks like she'll be all right. It's a good long ball from Grace Gillard there, and Taylor Grant on the press, and it was good defending in the end from Olivia Lee. Unfortunately, the boards around the side make it a little bit difficult when you're that close to the edge.
Kylan Grant played outside back last year for Syracuse. had over 1,100 minutes. She played in the center role most of this season. And then now with Kate Murphy back in the starting 11, Caroline Grant has found herself at the right back spot that she used to occupy in 2022.
And that's been the issue all season for Coach Nikki Adams, having to play players out of position. We've seen Erin Fleury play almost every single position in the midfield and the attack, even having to play a little bit more defensive. And when she's your most threatening attacking player, you don't want her to be playing defensively.
Oh. 1-2 creative idea. Caroline Grant nearly got there. Erin Fleury, I think we've talked about how a couple of these Syracuse players have been banged up. Erin Fleury is an absolute trooper. Last time out against Louisville, had to get some stitches. This time out, she's got the headband on, she's ready to rock, and that has been the mantra for Syracuse this year. Even with a smaller roster, not as many healthy players, no one is backing down. Sarah Shapansky is onside. She needs support. Onto her left foot, Shapansky tries it herself. Deflection had to be stopped by Vanderbosch, who was very quickly off her line and very bravely as well.
The confidence from Shea Vanderbosch, once again showing why she's one of the best. Coming off her line, full speed, right into the outstretched boots of Landy Mertz. Shea Vanderbosch does so well to redirect the ball away from danger.
How difficult is that as a goalkeeper when you're not thinking about self-preservation? You just need to get the ball. Vanderbosch with perfect form, able to pull it off as she does so many times. Here's Amanda West now into the area. West falling away from it. There was a body in front. Another shot from way out, and it is an absolute scorcher. Ellie Caulfield take a bow, and Pitt finally have the breakthrough.
Just a look of bewilderment from Shea Vanderbosch. What a strike this is from Ellie Caulfield on the half volley. Rifled. It was knuckling all the way. That's why Shea Vanderbosch was a little bit blindsided. Unpredictable shot right in the upper 90. Fantastic finish.
Shortly after Vanderbosch makes her 100th save of the year, it is an unstoppable rocket from Ellie Caulfield.
It was just the break that Pitt were looking for in this early part of the game. Syracuse, they had a foot on it. They were in the game. They were playing well, but from out of nowhere, Pitt take the lead from an absolute wonder goal.
Shapansky now. Fury let it run. Amanda West hadn't made the overlap.
It's so difficult to hit the ball with that sort of technique from Ellie Caulfield. You saw the ball just not spinning at all. It was completely knuckling all the way. It even looked as if the ball was going to go over, then all of a sudden dipped at the last minute. It was practically perfect technique.
Nick, you're a goalkeeper yourself. Shea Vanderbosch, it's safe to say, is one of the best goalkeepers in college soccer right now. I don't think there is a goalkeeper on this planet that saves that ball.
You're precisely right there, Phil. I mean, we've seen it in the professional game before. I distinctly remember a Liverpool-Arsenal game where a situation like that happened. Ball came in on the volley from distance, and when the ball is just spinning left and right, you have no, as a goalkeeper, you almost just have to wait and try and react at the last second.
So Pitt score first, as they have done now 12 times this season, undefeated when the Panthers find the back of the net. That is an incredible stat. And for Syracuse, really, the Orange got to feel a little bit hard done by. They were far from out of this contest, and there is still plenty left to be played, but that stat a worrying sign.
And that's all credit to Coach Randy Waldrum and what he's been able to do with this squad. They've been so solid, especially after losing to Louisville early in the season. They have found their stride and really making sound waves here in the ACC.
Here's Landy Mertz trying to drive a goal. Onto her left foot, Mertz will try it, and it's again over the crossbar from the graduate student.
Well, the Panthers really do like their shots from outside, and once again, it wasn't too far away from Mertz. Just needs to see this lens a little bit too far back.
Pitt out shooting Syracuse 6-0 in the opening stages at SU Soccer Stadium. And the Clute. You saw Auden now. It's a nice move, able to just slalom through defenders. Auden, one of a handful of players that did not feature in 2022 for Coach Adams in the Orange. She's got 12 appearances this year, 6 of them starts, and 1 goal to her name coming against number 3 Florida State.
Yeah, but she's someone that needs to sort of get more involved into the attack. I'd like to see her sort of make those more diagonal runs. Realistically, Erin Fleury is going to be always the target for opposing teams for Syracuse. You need to have players making those runs, trying to create more space for Fleury to operate.
Talked to Coach Adams this week, and though she lamented the less than healthy roster she's had this year, on the other side of it, it means you have players, younger players that maybe haven't gotten their shot yet, who are out there behind the scenes competing every day for the badge for the university, and they get their shot in 2023, trying to make the most of it.
And that's something that Coach Adams has really cemented, that the attitude of these players has been second to none. They are always coming, and as you mentioned, Phil, playing for the badge. They're doing everything they can to put the best product they have on the field.
A lot of space up by the corners for Syracuse offensively, but so far it's been more of a build-to-the-back strategy for the Orange, just because when you don't have a ton of substitutes, you can't really rely on those long passes over the top for your forwards to chase down.
And then that issue with having healthy players, some players, Coach Nicky Adams has told us that they don't, there's some players who are playing at 75%, makes it even more difficult to play the long ball. And for Syracuse, they do have players who are technical and they're able to create spaces and build out the back.
Fantastic pass from Shapansky all the way up to Landy Mertz. Fury is making the run. Mertz on the left foot again. It falls to Fury, who goes down in the area, and it is a penalty for Pitt. Samaya Fury got the rebound, got around her defender, and got the penalty call as well.
All credit to Samaya Fury there. Got the touch away, and the referee left no choice but to point to the spot.
On first glance, it did look like a stonewall penalty, and there really can't be much argument there from Kate Murphy.
Yeah, just sort of couldn't get ball side of Samaya Fury there. And a great opportunity for Pitt to double their lead.
Thank you. Standing over the mark is Ashton Gordon with 2 goals this year. The graduate defender. She's played the full 90 in the last 9 matches straight. Hasn't scored since September 21st. Gordon, saved by Vanderbosch. She gets the rebound too and gets the Orange fired up, keeping Syracuse in this contest early on.
Is she not the best goalkeeper in the ACC, Phil? What a save. Read Gordon perfectly and even was able to come and collect the ball and stop any rebounds. Fantastic save from Shea Vanderbosch. Stayed on her line right until the last minute. She had a foot on the line to make sure that the goal kick wasn't retaken. Fantastic save from Vanderbosch, keeping Syracuse in the game.
We have so many stats, so many numbers we could tell you about Shea Vanderbosch. A picture says 1,000 words. A penalty save replay tells the whole story. into triple-digit saves on the campaign now. She might be called in action again here. Fury sizing up goal. She'll try it. Another defender in the way. Heels for handball against Abiodun. Free kick for Syracuse.
In that moment, I think Syracuse would have preferred to have the advantage. They had the counterattack going. Had players going forward. I think for Coach Adams, it has a little bit of a negative start. Of course, going down 1-0. But in reality, Syracuse are in this game, and that penalty save momentum is so important in women's soccer. When you know Syracuse have a chance, they're gonna take it and take a grasp of it.
Erin Fleury nearly getting onto the end of it.
Organize it!
She hasn't seen much of the ball today, much less than the Orange Faithful would like, that's for sure.
Now the issue is that Pitt defensively have been so solid. Boyden have been doing so well of locking her down, especially in the midfield. When she comes a little bit deeper around the center circle, trying to collect the ball, always has two players surrounding her.
Panthers keeping the attack really wide. West now on her left, Gillard in the way. And time on the ball for Rupert, who maybe could have done something more with that. Caulfield now, the goal scorer. Along to the far side for Katie Zalski. Now Mertz. Another good ball in. Fury wide open! And Samaya Fury doubles the advantage for the visitors.
It was a free header inside the box, but can't discount this incredible ball in from Szczepanski. It was practically on a plate. And the header itself was really well done by Fury. Got the contact required and the location as well. Nothing Shea Vanderbosch could have done there. And Pitt double their lead.
The deadliest attack in the ACC has two goals early. Samaya Fury now up to 8 on the campaign. And it prompts Coach Waldron to make a couple changes.
And this is the threat that Pitt has. And all the ACC, especially in that top 6 of the Notre Dames, the Clemsons, the Florida States of the world. Pitt are putting them on notice. They have found their groove. They have lost only once this season. And they really could be a threat, not just in the ACC tournament, but in the NCAA tournament as well.
Pitt comes into this game with 3 straight wins, most recently against number 22 Duke, and then that upset against number 17 Wake Forest. And then it doesn't get any easier for the Panthers after Syracuse is number 1 Florida State and then number 7 Clemson just 3 days later.
I think this is a really good example of how close those games are going to be. Syracuse played Florida State at least very close. Clemson was a little bit lopsided from an Orange perspective, but Pittsburgh Panthers, they are getting hot at the right time. They are finding that space so easily and connecting those passes so well as well. And going forward, they're just such a threat.
Frustration foul from Ashley Rauch. On that last possession for Syracuse, Kate Murphy, the defender, got quite high up the pitch. It's left some space at the back. Fury occupying that space now. Good pass. Szczepanski's shot deflected over the bar. Rather, Landy Mertz on the chance once again.
Yeah, Landy Mertz has really been so creative on the right-hand side for Pitt so far. Creating that space, playing those balls in between the lines as well. Finding that space and playing those triangles really well.
Hannah Pilley introduced to the contest for the Orange. Comes off the bench after starting her last 6 matches straight. Chance for some fresh legs up top. And Anna Bout into the contest for Pitt. Bout has scored in back-to-back matches. It's another corner for the Panthers. Another short one as well. West couldn't volley it. Olivia Lee will try and keep the high line and move the ball along. Fury checking in, sees the pass with her back to goal. Samaya Fury had space for the shot. Not cleared just yet. Now Amanda West's turn. And couldn't turn the ball inside the post.
West just couldn't wrap her foot around that one. She got that little bit of space away from the defender, just couldn't keep it on frame. But once again, Samaya Fury, she had the space, just that little bit of a slip on the shot. Otherwise, it was almost a guarantee it was going on target.
Samaya Fury, when she received that pass, the speed at which she took the next touch in that turn, that is deadly from a striker perspective.
That agility is just incredible. And she's also got a good stature as a number 9 as well. Plays so well with her back to goal. Really has been incredible on the forward line for Pitt.
Just over 18 minutes to go in the first half from SU Soccer Stadium. Pitt leading the Orange 2-0. Philip Galati and Nicholas Whaley with you. As Syracuse have a chance to get numbers forward. It's toward Fleury. It's headed on. And Ellie Breach, the keeper for the Panthers, calling to action for the first time.
Yeah, it was really well read there by Breach. Came off her line very quickly. And as a goalkeeper, when you make that decision, you have to come get the ball. And she did very well.
Fleury working back with the ball, playing a lot deeper in possession than she'd like to be. That's a poor pass at the back. And the Panthers have numbers here if they can get the ball into the box. Cross into the middle. Kylan Grant first to it. Falls to Samaya Fury, who waited too long to pull the trigger. Fleury again. Shoving off Abiodun. Referee had a little bit of a look. Those two players exchanging some less than pleasantries.
Yeah, that matchup between Fleury and Aboni, in the midfield is so interesting because they're both work so well, both defensively and going forward, and two of the best midfielders on the field at the moment between both teams.
Crouch called for offsides.
Pay attention! You ready?
Deborah Abiodun on that last challenge for Pitt. One of a couple players at SU Soccer Stadium today with international experience. Abiodun herself played in the World Cup with the Super Eagles. Zoe van de Kloot, Grace Gillard with Syracuse, and then Lainey Fuchs, who captained Austria's U19 side and got 2 call-ups to the national team. Speaks to the level of ACC soccer on display.
And also from a Pitt perspective, having that international experience as well for Syracuse just provides that little bit of an edge, that little bit extra from especially players who are underclassmen. It gives that little bit. It gives them a little bit of an edge, and that's why we see so many international players in NCAA.
Kira Mellenhorst standing over it. So too is Ellie Caulfield. It'll be Mellenhorst to send it in. It's a very good ball. Gordon is there, and it's right down the middle for Shea Vanderbosch.
Ashton Gordon just has way too much space here from a Syracuse perspective. Defensively on these set pieces, it hasn't been great. Zoe van der Kloot was assigned to mark Ashton Gordon there. And a free header that Gordon could have done better.
And it speaks to the level of focus that Syracuse needs in this match, because that last goal for Pitt, off a cross, Samaya Fury was unmarked. On that last chance, Ashton Gordon is unmarked, but that's not a matchup thing. That's just an individual lapse in concentration. That's easily fixable for Syracuse.
And Syracuse on the set piece on corners as well, playing more zonal, less player to player.
Fury skipping away. Another cross in. Vander Bosch barking for it.
Well read there by Shea Vander Bosch.
She thought about the quick restart, too. It seems to be the calling card for goalkeepers. As soon as they make a save, they get all the adrenaline going. The first thing they want to do is put the ball back into play. So it speaks to the poise she's developed this year in particular, just to take a step back and calm things down.
And from a goalkeeping perspective, you're looking to try and start the attack as soon as possible. You want to be the max to start any sort of attacking phase, and Shea Vander Bosch, but she's smart enough to know exactly when to play forward quickly and when to calm things down for her side.
Fury sliding in, forcing Anna Rupert to work back now. Kate Murphy needs help. She has it with Shea Vander Bosch. Syracuse have put the forwards up right against the back line for Pitt. Gonna try that long ball. Second ball headed on by Rupert. It falls to the feet of Anna Bout. Abby Oden calls to send it long for Fleming Dean. Plays the short option instead. Seems to be a bit more patience about the Panthers now. Amanda West has plenty of space on the near side, but rather than try and force that switch ball, just going to play with the defenders, make sure everybody has their positioning, and try to work up through the middle. And about now, fakes the shot, has support behind her. Dean, on the far side, Syracuse has to mark up. Landy Mertz now. Cross deflected by Alyssa Abramson.
Well, the Panthers really starting to control the game, working at least 10, 15 passes as they work up the field. Less of that high press, and Syracuse have responded with that and starting to sit back more, and they're looking to hit more on the counter-attack.
Space for another cross, and West is there, and Vander Bosch almost kept it out. One of the most prolific Panthers in program history makes her mark at SU Soccer Stadium, and it's 3-0 Pitt.
The frustration from Shea Vander Bosch's talent, but brilliant skill from Amanda West here. Ball played in by Mellenhorst, got the better of her man, and Shea Vander Bosch did so well to just get that save onto the post. Very unfortunate for the Syracuse goalkeeper. The frustration for her is that Mellenhorst on the far side was completely unmarked and was able to cross the ball in so freely. And Pitt really flexing their muscles late in the first half.
Amanda West, the all-time points leader in program history. Most assists in a year for Pitt. She has the top 3 goals per match record for 3 separate seasons. Gets her first goal since NC State on September 17th. That's just her second in ACC play this year. A confidence booster for a prolific name in Pitt soccer history.
That stat that you mentioned, Phil, the top 3 of goals per game in each season, and she's the name in every single.
The podium is just her.
Like that's
it's
just
crazy.
Incredible. That just tells the absolute dominance that she has had throughout her entire Pitt career, and to say that she has slowed down in any way is so far in the other direction you wouldn't believe.
Another substitution for Syracuse as Anna Rupert makes way for Rhea James. And a whole slew of changes for Pitt as well, most of them on the attacking front.
This is a luxury that Syracuse don't have. They don't have that many options off the bench at the moment. So many injuries for Syracuse, making it very difficult even in training. And for Pitt, who are able to bring so many players on these away trips and are able to rest legs when needed, is so crucial.
Good interception. By Gomez. Trying to get on the end of the loose ball. Just her third appearance of the year. She gets around one, and it's deflected out for a corner.
Well, a good challenge there from Zoe van der Kloot to get the block in. Straight off the bench, Aaliyah Gomez. Right through the legs of Kate Murphy. But in the end, it was deflected off of Alyssa Abramson there, forcing the corner kick.
Kira Mellenhorst to swing it in. She got an assist last time out for Pitt against Wake Forest. Second ball bouncing over Bout. Now Zoe van der Kloot will give chase. The Belgium native with a little bit of pace, and in the end does well to get the ball for pitch for the Orange.
It's a good chance for Syracuse to just move numbers forward, so move the entire unit together and try and at least force an opportunity in the Pitt penalty area.
Ray, get out. Ray, get out. Start. Start.
Gillard first to it. Abramson, a dangerous decision. Kylan Grant just had to get it away.
It's a late challenge there from Ashley Rouse. Really stuck her leg out. And for Syracuse defensively, you will be frustrated. Especially the two goals from crosses, both could have been prevented. From a coaching standpoint, you can never leave players open in that defensive third. And for the Syracuse coaching staff, other than that first goal from Ellie Caulfield, which was an absolute worldie, Syracuse could easily still just be only a goal behind. Always dangerous as well, playing at the back.
Fleury trying to explore space in the channel. Gordon there to cover. Send it out. Since we were mentioning Syracuse coaching staff just a second ago, take a second to recognize Alex Zaroyan, pictured next to Coach Adams, who was one of the 30 coaches picked for the United Soccer Coaches 30 under 30 program out of a pool of more than 270 applicants. In his first year on the sidelines for the Orange, gets a chance to get some advice from the best.
Yeah, for Coach Nikki Thrasher Adams, the great thing about Alex from her perspective, he's just such a good guy, and he's also just has those values that provide the team like just that little bit of an edge as well. And they've been able to develop as a program, especially this season. And what has been such a hard season, he has made their life much more easy.
Go, stay focused. Hey, one on the back.
Syracuse can get a lot of numbers in the box for the set piece. It's a good ball into the back post. No one there to meet it in white. Pitt try to step up. Kylan Grant sends a comfortable one towards Ellie Breach. Wells. It's the poke away. Now Dean. Pitt still staying very wide in transition. Exploring the spaces in the corners. A chance to explore space down the middle, too. Cross to the top of the key. It's over everybody. Fleury will collect instead.
Well, when they're playing this three at the back formation, Pitt have that extra player going forward, and that means they have an extra player in midfield. They're able to check in much more easily, and they have that extra space. And having an extra player when Syracuse, they're trying to be as compact as they can and be as defensive as possible, it gives Pitt that little bit of an advantage.
Just over 5.5 to go in the first 45. Erin Fleury lost her shin guard in the process. They seem to get smaller every year. Players finding some favor with the smaller shin pads.
A lot of time players, they get one shin guard and they cut it in half. And then they use those two.
Especially for a player like Erin Fleury, it's a double-edged sword with how much contact she can anticipate in the game, and she never shies away from it either.
Absolutely not. And she just, for her as well, Erin Fleury is one of those players that you have to bring her off on a stretcher.
Sliding challenge came in from Leah Gomes, and she will be the first name in the book. Kevin Marr, the center official tonight, with the first yellow card.
It's a sliding challenge, and it was both Abramson and Murphy who sort of came together as a result of the challenge from Gomez, causing even more trouble there for Abramson on the far side. The last thing that this Syracuse side needs is more injuries.
And especially to the back line when Pitt is out shooting Syracuse 15-2 through 40 minutes of play.
And for Pitt, those shots have also been very efficient. 8 of those shots have been on target. 3 of them, of course, ending up in the back of the Syracuse net. And that just is also telling of just how good this Pitt attack is. It was ranked first in the ACC prior to the game. 39 goals on the season.
Pitt as well on the defensive side of the ball, playing that very high line. A few times that Syracuse has been able to get forward, the whistle has stopped them in their tracks.
And that's that leadership from Ashton Gordon that Coach Waldrum has really praised in the week. That she's almost like the coach out on the field for this Pitt team.
And the Klute coughed up possession. Now Wells moved along once again. Plenty of Panthers in the box to pick out. And Leah Gomes, a little bit selfish from her. She gets the corner.
She really should have got that ball into the box sooner. All of a sudden, she had 2 or 3 Syracuse players closing her down. If you get that ball in towards the back post, she had 2 or 3 Pitt shirts waiting for it.
And on the other side of that, Leah Gomes comes into tonight with just 20 minutes played on the season, 2 appearances. So maybe trying to prove something to Coach Waldrum. Now 5 corner kicks for the visitors. Deeper ball in, and Gomez was first to it.
Yeah, once again, the marking on these set pieces from a Syracuse perspective just haven't been there. It's a really good ball into the box, right in the danger zone. And it was 2 Pitt players who were fighting for the same space in the end.
Freshman hungry to prove herself. First appearance since September the 3rd against Bowling Green. There are so many underclassmen on this roster for Pitt. Some incredible depth for their side. Most of them play in the attacking third of the pitch.
And in a game like this where it is comfortable for the Panthers, they're able to bring out some fresh legs, give players a little bit of a chance, and especially rest the players who are going to be so important come November if this Pittsburgh Panthers team wants to make a run in both the ACC and NCAA tournaments.
When we talked to Coach Waldrum earlier this week, Pitt has their mind set on the NCAA. Good run in from Gomez. Had some pace to get onto that. Closed down quickly. Danger still not away for Syracuse. The referee's whistle will sound for another orange player. Grace Giller, the sophomore captain, in a bit of a heap.
Real concern here for us from a Syracuse perspective. She went in and went for the ball, and doesn't even look like there was much contact. Look at here on her right foot just caught behind her, and a rolled ankle, but thankfully she's up to her feet. That left ankle, which is concerning Grace Gillard
fighting through the pain. And like every player for this Orange team, it is going to take quite a lot to take them out of the game. They are ready to battle for every last minute.
She's still struggling on that ankle at the moment. She's really can't walk comfortably. And but from a defensive perspective for Syracuse, Grace Gillard, one of the most consistent defenders on the field for the Orange.
She's already hustling back on defense now. Kate Murphy, the first to it, cut out the chant for Evie Craven.
Just under 2 minutes to go in this first half, excuse me. From Syracuse perspective, it just needs to be a little bit better in all aspects of the field. Erin Fleury has to be given more space, and that has to come from her teammates, really. Need players like Hannah Pilley to make those diagonal runs and just give Fleury more space. She is the biggest threat on this for this Orange team, but opposing teams do realize that. Just need to see a few more of the Orange attacking players step up in the second half.
Mellenhorst into the final minute of the first frame from SU Soccer Stadium. Hit with 3 goals and patiently crafting another attacking opportunity now. Gomez had the switch on. Instead plays the simple ball. Bout tried to pick out Mellenhorst. And it's well defended in the end from Ashley Rauch.
The referee will stop the clock here as because for Erin Fleury, who's down and slow to get up for Syracuse, and that is the biggest concern for Nikki Thrasher-Adams.
Fleury shaking her head, wearing the head brace and the bandages from the stitches she got last time out against Louisville. And will rest for the final 31 seconds. Mackenzie Dupre, who only had 7 appearances last year, has already doubled that this year for the Orange. Rauch played it too far for Dupre. That'll just about do it. Syracuse started this half brightly, and then ever since that goal, an unstoppable shot really from Ellie Caulfield, it's been all Pitt.
And it meant Syracuse had to chase the game more, and that opened up more space defensively, and the Panthers have capitalized.
Aaliyah Gomez and the Panthers with
history, and still with 3 games to go. What a story for Shea Vanderbosch this season.
Erin Fleury will start the second half on the sideline as the ball is rolling once again in Central New York. Grace Gillard, the sophomore captain of the back line for Syracuse, also looked a little worse for wear toward the tail end of the first 45. She, however, is on the pitch to start things off.
When 2 of your best players are struggling trying to stay on the pitch, it's always a worry for Syracuse, but this is a good moment for other players to step up and sort of make a difference in a game which has been very tough for the Orange. In the second half, they got 45 minutes to make a difference.
Here is Deborah Abiodun. Hit with most of his starters back on the pitch. Panthers not letting off the gas pedal to start half number 2.
Well, for them, this is a good moment to really flex their muscles and put all of the ACC on watch.
Abramson just trying to get it away. Gordon with time to take it down and shrug off the challenge of Rhea James. Now Shapansky on her left, thought about the shot, will take it, and it's an absolute screamer! Sarah Shapansky starts the second half with an exclamation point for Pitt.
Well, the Panthers really brought their shooting boots today. Absolutely sensational. Gets away from the defender. Took the shot away with her left foot, and it was always dipping. Shea Vanderbosch had no chance. Beautifully taken by Sarah Shapansky. Ashley Raj could have done better defensively for Syracuse, could have closed down a little bit better. But the shot was absolutely magnificent.
Pitt knew the task ahead with a goalkeeper like Shea Vanderbosch in net. And it has been 4 absolute peaches. None of those strikes would have ever been stopped. The most prolific attack in the ACC on full display on the road.
And we were just mentioning what else was happening in the ACC with Notre Dame and NC State and what kind of a threat they would be going forward. But this Pitt team, I'm telling you, are really putting their mark and showing what they could be doing in just a few weeks in both tournaments.
Sarah Shapansky, the first name on the score sheet in the second half, with goal number 10 on the year for Pitt. Now up to 8 points in her last 4 games. An incredible run of form from the junior and the hometown kid. Neat move on the far side by Amanda West. She's got pace. West still going. It's Amanda West on her left foot. Unselfish play. And stabbed away for now. It's just so free-flowing from Pitt. Scintillating to watch.
But I have to say, Syracuse defensively looks like they're starting to give up. And I understand it's really not a great position if you're Syracuse down 4-0, but you have to at least show the fight, show that you can find a way, at least have a consolation in this game. Always give your 100% effort on the field. Do not allow Pitt to get into those positions too easily.
Grace Gillard committing the foul way up from the back line. Vanderbosch barking out orders to hold the 18 as Shapansky won the foul, already back on her feet.
Part of that, those 3 incredible attackers for Pitt who had made up 22 of their 39 goals this season before the game, really flexed their muscles. They showing why that there's such a threat going forward.
All 3 of them, Shapansky, Fury, and West, on the score sheet today as well. Ashley Rauch is down once again.
She was down early in the first half as well. Another player who's suffered with injury for Nikki Thrasher-Adams. Thankfully for Syracuse, she's back on her feet.
Lisa Auden receiving some instruction on the near side. Coach Adams calling her junior forward over. A lot more space afforded to the Pitt back line now. Zalesky will try and explore it. Katie Zalesky threading the needle. Back heel for Fury. Took a bounce. Cut out by Kylan Grant. As far as Abiodun. Here's Landy Mertz now. Mertz with a lot of space. To your point, Nick, the Syracuse defense is just stepping off a little bit.
And you can see that 4-4-2 formation. The midfield and the defense just seemed a little bit too disconnected. There was such a gap between the two.
Fury tried to take it down. Grace Gillard in the way. Now Abiodun again. Orange struggling to clear their lines. Mertz. Zalesky. Zoe Vandekloot at pace. Left Ellie Caulfield unmarked in midfield.
Yeah, I was going to say, this guy was first ballot, really?
Vandekloot once again charging at full speed, trying to drag that midfield line forward for Syracuse.
Yeah, but the concern is when Syracuse make those interventions, it's just not good enough.
Mertz trying to cut it back, finds Abiodun off the upright. The Nigeria international hits the woodwork.
Great run again from the Panthers. It was well controlled by Abiodun and just scrapes the post.
Another shot from way out. Van der Bosch will see this one all the way. Deborah Abiodun, a little bit unlucky to hit the post. She's got 4 points in her last 3 games, including back-to-back assists against Wake Forest and Boston College in her last 2 appearances.
It shows that experience that she's had at that international level as well. Also, being comfortable in the Coach Waldron system. Obviously, probably the most familiar of any player on the field, playing for Coach Waldron both internationally and at the college level.
Syracuse forced to clear it. Chance for Giller to settle things now a little bit. What can Syracuse do? Van der Bosch tries the early ball. Taken down now by Abiodun.
Syracuse completely stretched here.
Well tackled by Kate Murphy right on the edge of the area. Got nothing but ball. Murphy now getting forward. Just playing it a touch ahead of Zoe Vandekloot. Murphy did get forward. That leaves space at the back for Amanda West. She's got space to cross it too. And there was a foul off the ball. Shapansky went through Ashley Rauch.
On these last few plays, Syracuse, the entire unit is just completely stretched. You have 2 players, both James and Odin up top, but then they weren't moving back in transition. In a game like this where Pitt sort of overmatched the Orange today, they need to be working together as a unit. They need to be, if you're going forward together, you need to be together, and you need to overload those spaces to just try and get something working, get something cooking together. We just haven't seen that from the Orange, especially to start the second half.
Abiodun getting a little bit more advanced. Now Fury on the right. Sent it over the bar by some margin. Erin Fleury, who was taken out of the game rather, with 31 seconds to go in the first half, looks to be suiting up once again for Syracuse and ready to go out and compete. What does that mean for this team, Nick?
It means everything, especially in an attacking sense. She is the Syracuse attack, and she provides so much, not just technical ability, but that also the passion that she plays with as well is second to none. And when she's not on the field, Syracuse offensively just look lost.
Fury in a foot race with Murphy. Van der Bosch got a hold of it, maybe too much. Just sending it clear. As Erin Fleury has taken off her substitute's bib and will take a place at midfield, ready to get back in the game. A chance for a spark maybe for the Orange. A much needed one at that. Zalski nearly had her pocket picked. Gordon. A little more care on the ball. Lisa Auden fighting as hard as she could for it.
It's better pressure from Syracuse, especially going forward with Lisa Auden there. Syracuse needs to try and force those mistakes in the midfield. Try and get Pitt to turn the ball over. And there's even going to be a goalkeeper substitution here for Pitt for the Panthers.
as Erin Fleury comes on for Anna Rupert. Ellie Breach, the starting sophomore goalkeeper for Pitt, will be taken off in place of Emily Edwards, the freshman from North Carolina, who had 11 minutes off the bench against Duquesne on August 31st. Gets to re-enter the contest about 11 minutes into this second half.
It's a good opportunity for Syracuse if they could just get some shots at goal, try and test Edwards as much as possible for a goalkeeper who has only played 11 minutes this season. Players like Erin Fleury needs to just try and get some shots and then test the goalkeeper.
Van de Kloot was a while away from cage, but had a look anyways. Pass short, and a West onto it. She's got the stamina, and Shapansky as well. Sarah Shapansky with the ball. Landy Mertz getting forward at the far post. Shapansky keeps it herself and will only sting the palms of Shea Vanderbosch.
Well held by Shea Vanderbosch, but it all started from Kaylin Grant not going to the ball, and to me that's just basics. It's basic. If you're gonna get the ball past you, you gotta go to it, be aggressive. If it was underplayed, try and win it back, win that 50-50 ball, and Syracuse got to get the basics right.
Mertz winning a corner for Pitt. There seems to be a bit of selfishness about the wingers now for Pitt. The Panthers are getting numbers forward on the far side, but the ball carriers are keeping it as long as they possibly can.
And I think they sense that they want to get in on the action. Pitt have found it way too easy against the Syracuse defenders today, and I think anyone on this Panthers squad feel that they can get a goal to their name and try and show to Coach Randy Waldron that they deserve a starting spot.
Toes, toes.
Shapansky to send it in to the back stick. Headed on not once but twice, and the volley cleared off the line heroically. Syracuse managed to keep the ball out, but Pitt with unrelenting pressure. Second cross into the area. Not cleared away convincingly. Rhea James there, able to carry it forward. West slipped. Grant intercepts. Kylan Grant up from the back. She's got Fleury to her left-hand side. Fleury made the run. Going to try and get onto it. Erin Fleury now into the area. Trying to turn, falling away from it as she kicked it.
Erin Fleury looks on that run. You could tell she was limping a little bit on the run. Definitely still struggling with that leg injury she suffered at the end of the first half.
Mertz squares up Abramson. Mertz trying to shimmy away, and Abramson does well to defend it. Vanderbosch just couldn't keep it in touch.
Once again, Syracuse completely stretched in the outfield. There were still players at the center circle when Pitt were attacking down the right-hand side with Landy Mertz. And from a coaching perspective, you want to always have your players always be running, give everything you have. I understand for Syracuse it's been a tough game so far, but if you're not showing 100% effort, there's no point.
Last one was way too close for Syracuse. This one a little bit closer. Headed over the top by Samaya Fury, who already has one goal today.
Yeah, the threat that Samaya Fury has on these set pieces. Right over the head of Erin Fleury to win the header. In the end, it was just over the crossbar.
And Erin Fleury's appearance in the second half will come to a close, replaced by Caro Monterey, a freshman from Miami.
I think that's smart from Coach Nikki Adams. It's for Erin Fleury, a real concern for her father as well, who we just saw on screen. For Erin Fleury, it's been coming into the second half. She tried her best to keep playing and made that run down the right-hand side, but you could tell that she was still struggling with the apparent injury.
Flag stays down and tapped in at the back post. Landy Mertz gets a well-deserved goal, and Pitt have 5.
Well, Landy Mertz, as you mentioned, Phil, has been crying for a goal today. Has been running non-stop down the right wing and came inside nicely, got the better of Kate Murphy and Abramson. A great run, and look what it means to her to finally get that goal under her name, and Pitt are really running away with it.
Just the second of the season for the graduate student from Pittsburgh. Her first goal since the season opener against Buffalo all the way back on August 17th. And a sigh of relief for number 6 in blue.
And that selfishness we were talking about earlier, Phil, that wasn't a selfish play at all, but this is a point for these Pitt players to build that confidence, and we're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep talking about November. It's going to be very important because Pitt are in the conversation. They are playing really well at the perfect time.
You mentioned that unselfish play. That was Sarah Shapansky on the assist. Her 7th of the year, leads the team in that stat, and in fact led the Panthers last year in assists with 8.
She's just so well-run. She's not only so good going forward and scoring goals, she is an incredible team player as well, a great playmaker, able to create spaces and play the ball nicely, nice diagonal balls and crosses into the box. We've seen so many times today. And she certainly in a conversation for one of the best players in the ACC at the moment.
Rauch, a rare offensive foray for the Orange. Asia Cobb was open on the near side. She'll try and track it down now. Abionen instead with a lot of time. Under hit from Edwards. Fury let it bounce and was pushed in the process by Kate Murphy.
It's hard for Syracuse's defenders to go up against Fury here. She has got that physical ability as well that's just overpowering Syracuse's defense in those aerial duels. It's all just coming together for Pitt.
Late leg swung in from Shapansky. Syracuse had managed to get a couple white shirts forward just a moment ago. Plenty of numbers sent up now for Grace Giller to pick out. Bounced over Auden. Flag stays down against Aisha Cobb, who lost track of it at the pivotal moment.
It was a mistake. It was a slip there from Gordon at centre back. Caused the situation. I don't think Aisha Cobb really realized that the attack was on, and in the end it just falls to nothing for the Orange.
Sage Stelzer into the game. Bit of a miscommunication. Emily Edwards, her first appearance in almost 2 months. Freshman goalkeeper showing some worrying signs.
Those are the moments where Syracuse really need to capitalize. As soon as Pitt make any mistake, and that was a pretty big mistake there from Emily Edwards. Complete miscue, but Syracuse just weren't pressing hard enough in that moment. And in the end, Pitt able to recover well.
Good field vision from Caulfield to find Stelzer on the near side. Mertz, she's got a bit of gas left in the tank. Tried to round Ashley Rauch. And Abramson with the drag back tackle. Grace Giller now. Zoe Vandekloot has space. So too does Aisha Cobb. Cobb on her right. Trying to play the pass forward for Rhea James. Lost out. Katie Zalski got her frame across. An imposing one at that. Check of the shoulder for Menas now. West has drifted centrally from that far side.
That was better from Syracuse going forward. They were pressing well, but now they need to get back.
Amanda West hasn't been picked up. Makes the run. And the flag stays down against her as well. West with shooting space. It's Amanda West! It's 6 for Pitt. The all-time leading point getter in program history has her second of the afternoon.
Brilliantly played in, and it was nicely controlled. She had the space between Murphy and Abramson, got onto that left foot, and a brilliant solo goal past the outstretched arms of Van der Bosch. And you can tell why. She is one of the most decorated players in Pitt program history. Even though she had Kate Murphy all over her, she was still able to find the back of the net with ease. And 6-0 for Pittsburgh. It's what a performance for them.
It is unfortunate for Orange fans, the most porous Syracuse have been in a contest this year. And it could be more here. Fury onto her left, and Gillard in the way. And Pitt still not showing any signs of slowing.
Well, as many times where coaches would say, if you're winning by such a margin, the best respect that you could give is give your best. And that's what Pitt are doing and have been doing for the full game so far, putting on their best show possible.
Headed away at the near post by Kylan Grant. Abiodun with the wheels to get onto the rebound, and the back heel as well to find Shapansky. Second ball into the back post is overhit.
And that's the first mistake she's done all game, Phil. Her balls into the box have been so good. They've been put on a plate for so many of her teammates.
Deborah Abiodun with an excellent performance today. Didn't show up much on the stat sheet, but gets the embrace from her college coach and her international coach, Randy Waldron. It is 6 for Pitt, the most that Shea Van der Bosch has allowed in a single game. Van der Bosch herself with 104 saves on the year, tied for second all-time in program history with a single-season save record. And on those 6 goals, there was not much she could have done about any of them.
They've all been really good Pitt goals. They've either been from outside the box, they've been brilliant solo runs like we saw with Amanda West. And Pitt have just ticked all the boxes today. They worked well in transition. They've worked the midfield so well. Defensively, they haven't had much trouble either. They've kept Syracuse at bay. And there's not much more you could say than it's just a faultless Pitt performance.
Cobb with a toe poke for Murphy. The defender trying to get forward and start something for Syracuse. Pilly bowled over. It's a bit of a mess. Mertz will come away with it. Samaya Fury now. Plenty of space forward for Kira Mellenhorst. Shapansky. Pitt want more. Shapansky on her left, crossing to the back stick. Still not away. Sarah Shapansky with shooting space and just sliced across it.
Just didn't wrap her foot around this one. She got that space that she needed. Got away well from Zoe van der Kloot. Really easily, and just if she had just curled it a little bit more, it would have ended up in the top corner.
Substitution for Pittsburgh, number 11.
It is another large series of changes for Coach Waldron.
Number 13, Ashley Moon.
Taking some of the starters off the midfield line and the front three as well.
Number 23,
Chance for some younger players for Pitt with the depth that the Panthers have this year on the roster, especially with those underclassmen up top. A chance for players to prove themselves to one of the winningest coaches in NCAA Division I history, a coach with international experience. And it speaks to how starkly different these two programs are. Pitt with such a deep roster, Syracuse just trying to find healthy players, and still the Orange fighting for every touch of the ball and winning a free kick.
And the fact that Pitt have made a goalkeeping substitution, that tells you what has really happened in this game and just how strong they have been all season long.
Coach Waldron took the job with the Nigeria women's national team, the Super Eagles, in 2020. Took the job with the Pitt Panthers before that. Was approached by Nigeria in 2018 for the gig. Didn't hear back from them for a couple weeks. Meanwhile, his phone was blowing up with congratulatory messages of him getting the job. It didn't work out then, but in 2020, Nigeria needed someone at the helm, and Coach Waldron answered the call. Was in Australia and New Zealand with the Super Eagles, and pictured with him is Deborah Abiodun, whose praises we've sang a couple times today. Nigeria made it all the way to the round of 16, lost a heartbreaker against England, a PK shootout. And for Coach Waldron, taking a team that hadn't received a lot of recognition on the international stage, ranked 40th coming into the World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, managed to get a 3-2 win against the hosts. And Coach Waldron spoke to us earlier this week. He said he expected people to be throwing eggs or voicing their opinions, but instead all he got was praise from members of the host nation saying, you have a fantastic team and what you're doing is incredible. Pitt nearly with another chance. Lucia Wells denied by Shea Vanderbosch.
Brilliantly done there by Shea Vanderbosch, making that save. Again, poor defending from Syracuse, but now that, Phil, is history for Shea Vanderbosch. Second all-time for saves.
Second all-time for saves in a season with 105. Staggering number for just the sophomore. From Lancaster, New York, about 2 hours west of Syracuse. One of the best goalkeepers, not only in the ACC, but in all of college soccer.
And she's just been phenomenal. Also in Lee's ACC in most save categories, and is averaging more saves a game than most teams have shots per game. And she's just been such an important part of this team, and the scoreline really doesn't do justice of how good she's been today. She's had 8 saves on the day.
Hit one another. Kylan Grant is in the way of the first cross. Ball taken down on the edge of the 18. Opportunity for a shot from distance was closed down. And Vanderbosch, with the speed, nearly keeping it in play, but instead goes out for a corner. Vanderbosch can't believe it, and after the performance she's had today and all season, maybe that call should be going differently.
I think for her, it's just never giving in, and I think her mentality of no matter what the scoreline is, always giving your 110% effort really speaks volumes, and it's a big reason for all her successes this season.
Came in today off the back of 2 consecutive double-digit save performances. Had a career-high 16 against now the top dog in the land, FSU. Now directing traffic off another Pitt corner. Volleyed off of Mackenzie Dupre. Vanderbosch fortunate not to see it at the first time, still directing traffic, and now the goalkeeper will claim smartly.
Yeah, good goalkeeping IQ there from Shea Vanderbosch, coming out and collecting. And once again, Pitt perspective, just been faultless today. Now 29 shots on the day, 15 of which have been on target as well. It's the efficiency of this Pitt attack, which is what has also been so impressive.
Cleared out of play by Sage Stelzer. Another freshman on the pitch for Pitt, making just her 5th appearance of the year. Stelzer started the last 2 contests back-to-back. Came off the bench this time around for Katie Zalesky. Murphy fighting for it. So too is Hannah Pilley. Might have a shooting chance here for Syracuse. Plays a lovely pass to the far side. It's Caro Monterey, and it's tipped over the bar by Emily Edwards.
Well, that's promising from Syracuse. Really well done there on the far side. Hannah Pilley played it in nicely. It was a little bit ahead of Monterey. Got the shot away, and it was forced a save from Emily Edwards.
That was some pass as well by Hannah Pilley to thread the needle. That diagonal ball. Caro Monterey, who had 30 minutes last time out against Louisville. Her best mark of the season thus far. Syracuse have their first corner. Lofted to the top of the 6. Delivery a little bit under hit. Grace Gillard doesn't want the chance to end just yet. Sophomore captain winning it back. Now Ashley Rauch with work to do. Rupert on her favored right foot. So Evan de Kloot stayed on side. So too did Kate Murphy. And the Orange now asking better questions of the Pitt defense.
Absolutely a lot better from Syracuse. They're working in between the lines, working those triangles really nicely and able to make those plays. And I'm liking that from Kate Murphy and Zoe Van der Kloot, able to connect with each other a lot better, especially with Aaron Fleury off the field. They need players to step up, and that was a lot better, much more promising from Syracuse.
One player to step up, maybe Grace Franklin into the game. The junior from Arlington, Virginia. Had a season-high 40 minutes against Virginia Tech back on September 24th. Onto the pitch for now appearance number 9 of the campaign.
All the shots in this game for Syracuse have been on target, so efficiency-wise, from a shooting standpoint, it hasn't been too bad for Syracuse. It's just they need more volume of shots. They need better chances overall.
Caro Monterey to take the corner. And she probably wishes she could have had that one back.
Not sure really what happened there, Phil. At this level, you need to be able to send those balls into the penalty area and especially keep them in play.
Emily Edwards, the freshman goalkeeper for Pitt, just her 2nd appearance of the year, directing traffic, and she'll try and send it long. A little bit under hit, but headed on just as well by Paige Diezik. Diezik now with the ball at her feet, finds the option to the far side. Pitt throwing numbers forward and will be denied by the offside flag.
A let off for Syracuse once again. Pitt just constantly overloading both wings. Both with so much pace on both sides. And even with this changed lineup, Pitt always a threat.
Grace Franklin with fresh legs. Tried to play the slide rule ball and wasn't on the same wavelength.
And there's got to be better communication there. Got to be able to connect your passes, especially when Grace Franklin, there's so much space on the left-hand side on here on this near side. Got to be able to connect your passes and make that next step in the attacking third.
Anna Rupert, the intended target of that pass, got some instruction from Coach Adams on that goal kick. Gillard having to chase back now, got a foot to it. Van de Kloot went down, but got the ball, needed to as well. Maya James losing out in midfield. Pitt looking for a 7th. Another shot from distance, takes a deflection, and Vanderbosch down to make a save once again.
the ability that she has, even though that ball was going wide, obviously from a goalkeeper's perspective, you can never be too sure. She was able to just get across so quickly despite the deflection. Her athleticism in goal for Syracuse is second to none.
Averaging 7.5 per game, Shea Vanderbosch. She's up to 9 on the day. 106 on the season. Second all-time program history for a single season save record.
With 3 games to go, the record of 138 doesn't really seem too far away if she's averaging 7.5 a game and has double digits in the last 3 games.
Craven moving it along. One-on-one opportunity, squared, and somehow kicked behind the run of Aaliyah Gomez.
Well, Aaliyah Gomez has been a real bright spark off the bench today for Pitt, but just needs to get this into the back of the net. A complete miscue from her this time.
Less than 6 yards out.
It went right off the top of her toe, and I think she will definitely want to have that one back.
Leah Gomez saw some considerable minutes toward the tail end of the first half. She only had 20 coming into tonight, and still yet to register her first collegiate point, the freshman.
It's inches away there from her first point.
She may not get a better opportunity than that in her college career.
I'm sure she has a bright future ahead of her. She'll definitely have those opportunities again. Only a freshman in this Pittsburgh team.
And how many freshmen have we seen from Pitt today put in a really solid performance off the bench? A lot of players with maybe not a ton of minutes this year. Lucia Wells, one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And she was the one who created that chance for Gomez. Another really bright spark on the left wing.
Less than 9 to go from SU Soccer Stadium. Vanderbosch got there first. Falls instead to Paige Diezik. Well intercepted by Zoe van de Kloot. Has the pace to skip away from the challenge as well. Van de Kloot with her head up. The Belgium international picks out the run of Anna Rupert. Rupert into the area. Cross under hit on her left foot. Dupre with a late leg, and there was a little bit of a buzz about SU Soccer Stadium for that chance, but Syracuse unable to string something promising together.
Well, the transition was really good, and it looked so promising. Zoe van de Kloot taking matters into her own hands, playing it down the wing, and Anna Rupert receives the ball on the wing, played the ball across the goal, and just wasn't enough.
Van de Kloot spent some time away with the team to train with the Belgium U23 squad. Played the full 90 last time out against Louisville, and has played a lot of minutes tonight. She had the pace. She had the stamina to start that attack by herself. It has been the mantra of this Orange team, despite their understaffed roster. No one is ever giving up. First, they've got to stop this chance from Gomez. And now Anna Rupert with an opportunity to create a chance of her own.
Well, this late in the game, both teams will feel a little bit worse for wear, and there's a lot more spaces opening up both for Syracuse and for Pitt.
Hilly takes it down. Maria James second to it. Forced a clearance from Haley Mercereau.
Just a goal for Syracuse means so much just from a confidence perspective of what has been a really horrible day for them overall. Conceding 6 goals at home against what is a very good Pitt side. Rauch
will have the shot and barely troubled Emily Edwards in the end. Just a bit of frustration there from Ashley Rauch, you think, to have a try from that sort of range.
Well, anything could happen from that kind of range, Phil. And as I was saying, in a game that's been so difficult for the Orange, that any sort of confidence builder, whether that's a goal in the last 6 minutes here, could go a long way for what overall has been a very disappointing season.
For Syracuse, it doesn't get any easier. NC State on the road, and then number 3 UNC before wrapping up back here at SU Soccer Stadium on October 26th against UVA. Meanwhile, for Pitt, The road trip continues for the Panthers. After Syracuse is number 1 FSU, followed 3 days later by number 7 Clemson. And then, of course, the ACC tournament starts later this month. First round being played the end of October at the top seeds' respective home stadiums, with the championship slated for November 5th. And the temperature turning up on these schedules as November is around the corner.
They really are. And the FSU and Clemson game is for Pitt, very important, and it will be a real true representation of where this team sits going into these important games at the beginning of November. And if the Panthers can get down and play in that championship game down in Cary, North Carolina, you wouldn't put it past Pitt to make a really good run in the NCAA tournament as well.
And it's going to be a heck of a watch next time out for Pitt against number 1 FSU. That one on the 19th of October. Because as we talked to Coach Waldron, this team is looking at the NCAA title. The team that stopped them last year was Florida State in the 3rd round.
But we already know Florida State, the being number 1 ranked team in the country, is a concern here for Anna Rupert for Syracuse.
2021 national champions next up for the Panthers as Rupert left on the turf.
And off the ball as well, or non-contact as well. I sort of lost traction in her ankle, which is never a fun feeling. Very, very painful. As long as she's walking off under her own power, which is always a good sign.
Anna Rupert, Erin Fleury, both out of the game after some tough challenges. Aisha Cobb back into it in her place. Grace Gillard picked up a bit of a knock in the first half, so too did Ashley Rauch. And despite how the season has gone for the Orange thus far, especially off the back of a promising 2022 campaign, players are never giving up. Coach Adams says they are fighting every day for the badge for the university. There are players now getting considerable minutes that haven't in their college career to this point. Players that have been practicing with the team behind closed doors for months and sometimes years, that have been hungry for their shot and will continue to fight as long as they can for the last 3 games of the year.
Well, for Coach Nikki Adams as well, looking forward to next year as well, as there's promise, and she has mentioned multiple times during the week her 2024 and 2025 rosters look very promising, and as long as Shea Vanderbosch and Erin Fleury, the 2 key stones in this team who could really revolutionize the Syracuse program next season, they stick around, and with some of the recruits that Coach Adams is so excited for, could really turn things around for the Orange.
Franklin away from Gomez. Now Rauch looking long. Saw the run of Aisha Cobb, just couldn't pick her out. Franklin not given much to work with off that pass from Rauch. Cobb now. Syracuse trying to keep it down this near side channel, and in the end skips away. Zoe Van de Kloot wanted the whistle to sound a little bit earlier, and already trying to restart play quickly.
I like this from Zoe Van de Kloot. She'll even with just 2 minutes to go, she wants to always keep keeping that energy up for this team, and we've seen it. She has been such a threat on the counterattack for Syracuse in the second half. It just hasn't had that final product.
Gillard's pass right into the run of an Erin Pitt attacker. Gomez couldn't spring away. Vanderbosch got a little bit underneath that. Gets bailed out, though, from the header from Anna Bout. Vanderbosch still commanding, directing traffic, shouting instructions, barking out orders, despite there only being a minute and a half on the clock.
Possibly the final chance here for Syracuse to just try and get something forward Pitt will look to close out, and that clean sheet could also be very important for them. Defensively is where their tournament runs will be defined, and they can keep clean sheet. It'll be a huge confidence boost for the Panthers.
Roush with a nice move. Again with a shot from way out. Fleury trying to restart play quickly in the final minute. Syracuse searching for a consolation at home. And now throwing numbers back on defense. Lucia Wells getting forward, still with Wells. Grace Franklin tracked all the way back to concede the corner. Still, the Panthers are shouting from the sidelines. They want this corner taken quickly.
And it's that camaraderie that this Pitt squad has. Well, it's an incredible job that Coach Waldrum has done. The culture at Pitt currently second to none, and it is super exciting if you're a Pittsburgh Panthers fan.
And about sending it in. Can't find a Panther on it. And that will wrap it up from SU Soccer Stadium. It is a statement win on the road for the number 17 team in the land. Pitt put 6 past Syracuse. Pleasantries exchange between